Everybody. Joe Vosper, 10 billion states here. Okay, so I've been talking for a while uh, to a few people, to camera, to YouTube, and to friends of my own, some of whom will be watching this today, about another approach to business. Now, the reason I'm focused on business is because business is unfair. The whole environment for business is set up to favor the people who already have massive business interests. They have something of a monopoly, and they can't fail because all roads lead to them. They're situated in such a way that they're not really putting back in. They're not really paying a lot of tax. They don't have problems with licenses, with no, what's that phrase? With compliance issues. Whereas anybody starting out, they're going to run into red tape. They're going to run into a whole lot of expenses. Entry to market, they're gonna suffer with loans, and if they go big, they're going to get into venture capitalism, which of course is pretty much controlled. You won't get anywhere with venture capitalism unless you're willing to offer either control of your company or such a massive part of your profit margin. You'll be a few years down the road before you manage to regain control of your company, if you ever do. And above that, of course, there's businesses which are part of the philosophy. They're set up in such a way where they can't really fail to get a sizable part of the market, and when they finally get control, they operate like the big ones. I mean, they're set up to get that big in the first place, and they're kind of fast tracked to that. So we're not dealing with a fair level playing field. And what this means, anybody with an initiative, anybody who either doesn't really have the ambition to be a superpower, wants a small business, wants to run it out of their garage or their spare bedroom, whatever, even small local employers, these guys are all going to struggle. They're going to struggle because they've got gatekeepers all around them. And at every level where they improve, where they innovate, they're going to run into competition, and the competition is going to see them coming. Now, I'm talking about a way around that. And I want to illustrate that most of our problems, okay, so a lot of our problems come through the government, a lot of our problems come through city councils, but a massive part of our problems come through big corporations who take our labor force, big corporations who fill our supermarkets, big corporations who are the supermarkets, focus their power through the major markets, dictate everything. Um, and so we're very limited then on what we can have. We've got no quality control over what we can buy, and nobody's looking after a decent living standard for anybody employed in those places. They're paid badly, they're overworked, and they have little or no say in how their businesses operate. They don't have a future whereby they graduate and become a business in themselves. Now, if you look at any other model, the typical thing is you go to work, you serve out your apprenticeship, you get your stripes, and you've got some power. Maybe you go on your own, maybe you stay with a company and the company pays for your loyalty. But you level up, you skill up, you gain some expertise. One string to your bow, maybe you go out and get others. You become somebody. You don't waste 40 years never getting anywhere. Uh, and if you do, you're going through a management structure which turns you more and more into a yes man, into a cog in a wheel, into something completely predictable. So I think business needs to be one of our major focuses, and I've come up with a strategy of how we can actually get to grips with that right now without needing billions or trillions of dollars of backing. I mean, this is using people power. So let me pause this, and I'll open a few things and we'll talk. So what I've come up with is a social credit model, just for, well, partly for business, small businesses, partly for customers. Um, Something you can look at when you consider in partnership with everybody, but basically a community which bases itself on kind of rubric of values, has a ethical discovery mechanism. But of course, as you know, I'm sort of an anarchist. I'm an autocratist rather than a democrat. Yeah, I believe in universal personal autocracy. Everybody writes their own laws. So this this social credit community is going to be based on your values. It's going to be based on my values. We all have a value system of our own, and we calculate. So I've called the project Steam Broker. I'll show you the brochure. Sorry, this is a poster, all stolen off the various picture reservoirs. What have we got here? Here we go. So this is a brochure. Now, this is early stages. I've not posted this online at the moment because I don't have web hosting. So I'm going to show you quickly what I've got, what it looks like, and then tell you what I need to do next and why I'm calling you about it. So Steam Broker, social credit cooperative, Esteem brokerage. Basically, what you want becomes kind of your currency. What I want becomes mine, and wherever they intersect, well, that's our joint venture. So what I'm trying to do here is preempt any attempt by anybody else to introduce a social credit system. Because what of course you get with the idea of social credits is somebody's going to tell you what they think the truth is, what they think value is, what they think is worth our respect, worth our esteem. But basically, we've all got our own. So the idea of Steam Broker is we use things like we use KPIs, we use mission statements, we use everything that goes into our business. And that becomes the way we're valued. Now, if you consider you're a small company and you're going up with, say, your rivals Amazon, or it's YouTube, or it's Microsoft, or it's any other subsidiary companies of those that own part of the market, you've got very, very little chance of competing against those guys because you don't have the resources. Now, what do the resources get them? They're the first at the table. They're already situated in the market. They rarely need to do much business to business to get started because the partners are already in the same boardroom. They're basically a department. So there's very little independent work going on. And therefore, the values, the core values of any company that's out there and successful are going to be the same as what's already dominant. So the way we break that is we form a community based on businesses working together as independents to deliver services and goods to the people who buy them according to the values that they have. Now, these can include anything like the value you deliver, the prices that you charge, the quality of the goods you use, how you source your goods. It can include the way you treat your staff, how you pay, how you train, the incorporation of your business itself, whether who your shareholders are, whether you're free on the open market or whether you're more family concerned, maybe you're more community based. Maybe you're based on your staff. Maybe you give dividends, you give share options, maybe you give shares automatically. Whatever it is you do that makes your business a superior brand of business against the big players like Amazon, eBay, you name it, Tencent, Meta, I don't know, General Motors, whoever the hell's got the monopoly on whatever the hell you're in, you're going to perform better than those big players because, well, you're not as corrupt. It's simple as that. Because what are you doing? You're trying to sort yourself out and your family. Well, they're not. You're trying to sort your customers out. Well, they're not. You're trying to sort your staff out. Well, they aren't. So you've got all these points ahead. Now, if you introduce a ranking system and you start trading giving preferential trading options to partners who have high rating. And if that rating isn't centrally controlled or controlled by some outside force, you put into that. In fact, you put into that completely. It's your model imposed on the world. You're going to find that your business partners and your customers are people who agree with you on the way business should be done. Now, this is an advantage because you don't need direct marketing. You don't need any kind of oversight because you're doing it yourself, and you're doing it peer based. You're doing it between yourselves. You always know you're getting a good deal, and you're on the best side of that deal because you're sorting each other out because you share the values. Now, whose business wouldn't work under those circumstances? Everybody sincerely sets up a business, sincerely takes on a member of staff, sincerely does a deal, is going to find that they're going to come out pretty clean, whereas the big companies, they're just not. So what I've thrashed out here is something I'm calling a communitized business model. And this is a way to rank your business, and this is the plan. So what I'm looking to do is form a community who are going to adopt this thing. There'll be a buy-in, of course. This is going to take a certain amount of admin. It's going to take a certain amount of software, but the software, we're talking tens of thousands. And between even in a small community, something like this could be thrashed together. And it has to be accurate. It has to be pretty sophisticated. A value system, a complete integrated value system, is not an easy thing to devise. If there was a philosophy, a full philosophy for doing it, we'd have it already. There'd be books all over the place on this. Very strange that there isn't. What is the big data project? I mean, that we've been running this 20 years. Surely the social networks have already discovered these values. They already know what we want, but we've lost that now. That's been packaged up, put in somebody's locker, put away from us, and we're not getting it again. But we can build it back quite quickly just by talking to each other, just with a bit of survey mail. You tell me your KPIs, I'll tell you mine. We'll shuffle the deck, we'll see what we come up, we'll deal the cards again, and we'll play with a higher ranking than our competitors will. And we'll refine it as we go. So that's Steambroker and the communitized business model in a nutshell. Let me pause again and I'll go on. The fact that this is a very early stage in Steambroker, and Steambroker is a social credit company, which is something everyone's going to run for cover as soon as they hear it. Now, I hope you understand the reasons I'm doing it, and I hope you're going to get in and help me with this, because this is one of those things where my opinion on anything doesn't matter. I mean, I can do a study on myself. In terms of communitized business model, well, these are all of the things that I'm interested in. These are the companies I'm trying to start. These are the branches of the companies and the markets I'm in. There's 72 of them. I mean, I don't know what your portfolio looks like or how seriously you take it. I can't take mine too seriously, but it'll be interesting to do the maths. I just want to show you one more thing. This is at the back of this brochure. This is Ucoin. Now, what we're talking about here with money is, okay, so I've got this thing called the Parallax Pound. And it's a very simple value rating system. Whatever you're doing with your money. The money's your imprint. It's exactly what you stand for. And so we have a trading arrangement. So I've got a self rate. I've got the rate that you associate with me or assign to me. And then I've got the way I thereby rate myself in your empire. You see what I'm saying? So I trade at the value you assign to my money as I'm in a market with you alongside. So we may not agree on what we're worth, but there's a deal to be made on the extent to which we're paying attention, the extent to which we've done the calculation. And the rate's the rate. Two different rates. We'll meet in the middle if we want to do anything, and that's the Parallax Pound. So, okay, as I'm saying, early stages here, all of it. But the communitized business model takes you, and it does something like this with you. And then it takes all your KPIs and your mission statements, feedback, and it does this with it. and you end up with a company rank which allows you to go into the market. And the company rate that you receive for everybody is your listing on everybody else according to your values, but you're listed on theirs. So if there's a deal there, you know it's the right deal. And that's basically what becoming a communitized or adopting a communitized business model is. So that's the AIC. Now, right, early stages. So what's next? Well, we need to get a club together. We need to sign people up onto doing business this way, just off the brochure as it's written. And then we need to get some kind of way of paying for it all. If we're talking maybe 20 to 100,000 for the first attempt at the software, and we work from there, we're not talking about very much. I mean, we're not talking about a big community. If we get a couple hundred or a few thousand businesses participating on this, the rates go down to negligible. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I've got for the minute. What I'm looking for now is people who are interested in social credits. I don't know. I love the idea of just discussing what's going to happen, but see the road ahead and figure out, if they're going to impose this, we want to be there first. We want to be there and have it all already worked out, because we can't lose to these people, because we've got things that they don't and can't have. You can't have integrity if you're already managing an economy and lying about it. But as soon as we blow the whistle on them, we start doing this ourselves, then the value has to come out. They have to deliver everything they can deliver. They can't hedge their bets. They can't collectively decide to defraud the whole population and give us another crisis. Of course, we could really be in a crisis, in which case we're going to end up voting for these guys off our own initiative, and that's the buy-in that they really love. But I think that's a bigger danger of social credits than whatever you're scared of. I don't know. Anyway, get in the conversation, talk to me about this, see what you think of my notes, see if you got any better notes. If you're doing this already, let me know. Anyway, I'm gonna pause again. YouTube, I'm sorry, but keep on watching me on YouTube. Subscribe and watch all the old videos, and then get in the comments so I know who you are, and give me your email. If you're watching this because I've written to you, then maybe you're one of my mysterious 25 subscribers. I don't know who they are. Please get in touch. And if I've emailed you personally and you already know me, then of course I'll see you over the coming weeks and you can give me some feedback. And again, if you're running a social credit company, or you'd like to be involved in a social credit company, or you have a company and you'd like to join a social credit collective, then obviously call me during business hours and we'll get that started. But this will come down to participation from everybody who wants in. I don't know how to do this. I know I've got to write an algorithm in such a way that it all works. The parallax pound is the basis. And the notes will be published soon. But more people, more collaboration, get that software paid for. And let's just do this, I mean, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel with social credits anyway, so you can see where we are. I don't know what else we can do, and this one ought to work. All right, see you soon. Call me.